Hello, good morning everyone. Today we are going to discuss about phases and eclipses, chapter 11, lesson 4. We will go through the textbook pages 492 to 497. Let's see the objectives of our lesson. To explain what causes the phases of moon, to describe solar and lunar eclipse. Let's see what causes the moon's phases. As we know that the moon orbits the earth, the moon orbits at an angle with respect to the Earth's orbit around the sun. The moon doesn't shine on its own, it reflects sunlight. The different shapes of the moon you see from Earth are called phases. So we should know what you mean by phases. The different shapes of the moon you see from Earth are called phases. Now let's see what are the causes of these phases. Phases are caused by the motions of the moon around Earth. As the moon orbits Earth, the relative positions of the moon, Earth and the sun change. The changing relative positions of the moon, Earth and the sun causes the phases of the moon. The phase of the moon you see depends on how much of the sunlight side of the moon faces Earth. Look at the picture very carefully. You can see the different phases of the moon. It starts from number 1. Number 1, it's a new moon. Number 2, waxing crescent. Number 3, first quarter. Number 4, waxing gibbous. Number 5, it's a full moon. Number 6, waning gibbous. Number 7, third quarter. And number 8, waning crescent. Let's see the phases and causes once again. The sun shines on the moon. When the sunlight reflects off the moon's far side, we call it a new moon. When the sunlight reflects off on the moon's near side, we call it a full moon. So we have to discuss about the difference between new moon and full moon. Between the new moon and the full moon, we see parts of the daytime side of the moon. Look at the picture very carefully again. You can see the moon as seen from Earth, the different phases of the moon. Our next topic is about eclipses. What do you mean by eclipses and which are the two types of eclipses? The moon's orbit around Earth is slightly tilted with respect to Earth's orbit around the sun. As a result, the moon travels above and below Earth's orbit. But on rare occasions, Earth, the moon and the sun line up. When an object in space comes between the sun and a third object, it casts a shadow on that object, causing an eclipse to take place. There are two types of eclipses, solar eclipse and lunar eclipse. Which are the two types of eclipses? Solar eclipses and lunar eclipses. We will see the two eclipses in detail. First is about the solar eclipses. Look at the picture very carefully. You can see the total solar eclipse. What do you mean by solar eclipse? A solar eclipse occurs at a new moon when the moon passes directly between the Earth and the sun, blocking sunlight from Earth. The moon's shadow then hits the Earth. The moon's shadow has two parts. The darker part is called the umbra. The larger, lighter part is the penumbra. You can see from the picture the umbra and penumbra. The moon shadow has two parts. The darker part is called the umbra and the larger, lighter part is called penumbra. During a solar eclipse, the sun's light is completely blocked to people within the umbra. They see a total solar eclipse. Part of the sun's light remains visible in the penumbra. So people within the penumbra see a partial solar eclipse. Now let's see what you mean by lunar eclipse. you can see from the picture the lunar eclipse. Lunar eclipse occurs at a full moon when Earth is directly between the moon and the sun. During a lunar eclipse, Earth blocks sunlight from reaching the moon. Lunar eclipses occur only when there is a full moon because Earth is between the moon and the sun at that time. Earth's shadow also has an umbra and penumbra. When the moon is in Earth's umbra, you see a total lunar eclipse. For most lunar eclipses, Earth, the moon, and the sun are not quite in line, and only a partial lunar eclipse occurs. Thank you very much. That's all about the lesson. I hope it's very clear for you. See you next time. Bye bye.